engine younger, longer, use Total Quartz engine oil. Total Quartz engine oil, lubricant sponsor of the Paul Miller Racing and Scuderia Corsa Racing teams. Visit TotalSpecialties.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Total USA. Joining me in the booth is the voice of the Road to Indy, the man in charge of everything here. In fact, he is in command of all he can see from the third floor of the Cooper Tires Press Tower, and that's Rob Howden.
I do not want that responsibility. That is too much for me.
Yeah.
I'll call the action. That's good enough for me, John.
Welcome back, my friend.
Good to be here. Gorgeous day as well. We had a little bit yesterday, a little bit of sprinkle here and there, but nothing really that changed the day. But, man, beautiful to drive in here today. Gorgeous day.
Exactly. It's going to be cool again today. Hotter tomorrow, but the good thing is there is no chance of rain in the forecast.
I love it, and it's time to go racing as well. Now we got some qualifying again. Indy Pro 2000, Indy Lights, their second qualifying sessions, but we've got 3 races on tap for today.
Exactly.
The entire road to Indy is going to be on track for you. We'll start things off with Indy Pro 2000 at 10:40. USF 2000, their second race of the triple header at 2:20 this afternoon, and of course, Indy Lights getting back at it this afternoon at 3:25. But qualifying for Indy Pro 2000. These drivers getting set to go, and they're going to be chasing Christian Rasmussen, the point leader. He was quickest yesterday.
Exactly right. Yeah, this will be setting the grid for tomorrow's race, and Rasmussen was quickest at 1:17.5, and about a half a second back, Artem Petrov. Hunter McElroy came in third spot. Jacob Abel, a good qualifying performance, up in fourth, and Braden Eves, local driver in the 91 car, rounded out the top 5, so should be fun.
Yeah, I would look for maybe Braden Eves to step things up a little bit. I think a little bit of an issue late in the session yesterday, so watch for him to kind of dial it back in. Again, we're just rolling out here momentarily with our drivers in the Indy Pro 2000 class. They're all on the grid, getting set to go, and one of the key things to talk about a little bit is the fact that we do have those 5 sessions in a weekend. 1 practice, 2 qualifying sessions, 2 races, but only 3 sets of tires. So strategy kind of does come to play. This track not that hard on tires, right, so that's a little different. But if a driver can get through, maybe only using 1 set in qualifying. We saw that yesterday with a couple of drivers. We'll see how it all plays out. There's your championship standings right there. 256 points on top for Christian Rasmussen, able to get 1 more point on Braden Eves yesterday, qualifying on the pole. So you see the advantage there. Eves in second position, Reese Gold in third, Artem Petrov fourth, and Hunter McElroy in fifth. We go back to last year. You think about who could win potentially here this weekend. We did a triple header here last year early in our season, and Braden Eves and Artem Petrov both were able to get wins. Eves with Exclusive Autosport. Last year, Petrov was with Juncos Racing. This year, he's joined Eves at Exclusive. So those are 2 drivers for sure to watch for. But, man, Christian Rasmussen has been so impressive this year, no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah, and again, he's one of those streaky drivers that once he gets his confidence up, he can, really string some wins together. And, he did that same thing, last year in USF 2000 and looking really strong this year in Indy Pro 2000. So he's on track to be the man to watch. And speaking of on track, we've got 12 cars making their way out of the grid right now.
Interesting when you kind of talk about Christian Rasmussen. A lot of chatter about Kyle Kirkwood, right? Yep. Winning the USF 2000 championship, winning Indy Pro 2000 championship. Now in a fight potentially for his 3rd straight Road to Indy title. Nobody has ever won all 3 in a row to work their way to the IndyCar program. Kyle Kirkwood, 25 wins, all-time win leader in the Road to Indy. But then you got this kid Rasmussen, this Danish kid, this sneaky kid that won 12 races in USF 2000 over 2 years. He's won 5 races already this year here now. He's at 17.
Yeah.
He's literally only 8 wins away from potentially tying Kyle Kirkwood. And Kirkwood will likely win a couple more this year before it's all said and done. But don't count out Christian Rasmussen. He may be one of the best we've ever had as well. And
exactly.
Definitely a fiery competitor.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Yeah, no question. No question. As I got a chance to see him when he debuted in F4 with Jay Howard, and so good to see he's staying with Jay and having good success in this formula as well.
That's interesting, right? Because he's got the loyalty. You see, he's been with Jay Howard Driver Development since he came over to the U.S. from Denmark, and and has been very strong, as you said. Was great in his opening year, his rookie year in USF 2000, back in 2019. Kind of like every rookie, got off to a decent start, but then second half of the season, Toronto was able to win there, won at Laguna Seca as well, 3 wins on the season, won 1 race here that season as well. That second half surge that we see from all the rookies, but then came back, wise move to come back to USF 2000 as the primary championship contender. Then went on a string of 6 or 7 straight races at the start of the year, put a beat down on everybody, and really grabbed a hold of that championship early. Did have a little bit of a hiccup mid-season last year, a really rough weekend at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then a DNF here, drove off from pole, opening lap, going into the carousel. Massive point lead of over 70 points, dwindled down to 3 points, and then his mental fortitude kicked in, able to turn it around, and was able to clinch the championship before the end of the season in New Jersey. So definitely a driver to watch. Christian Rasmussen, quickest driver yesterday, as I said, a 117.508. He'll start on pole later today. Alongside the Russian Artem Petrov for Exclusive Autosport, Hunter McElroy and Jacob Abel will be on row number 2. Abel's another one of the drivers who has really shown some mid-season pace. The momentum for him, everything's going in the right direction for Jacob Abel, and I'd love to see him on the podium, or potentially with a race win here this weekend.
Yeah, Hunter McElroy coming in after just a single lap to make a tweak or two, apparently. I don't know if the car's not to his liking or if they had planned to just do an installation lap, but everybody else out there beginning to turn some laps.
Just watching McElroy out there to see whether or not they're going to take the rear cowl off if there was any kind of an issue for the car. Indeed, McElroy into pit lane. Everybody else, as John had said, out on track. 20-minute session for Indy Pro 2000. Again, we'll be back on track with the Road to Indy at 10:05 later this morning. Indy Lights qualifying 2. Kyle Kirkwood, as we've already talked about it, he looked good again. Andretti is looking very good here at Mid-Ohio. And interesting, Andretti will actually be testing a young Mexican driver in Indy Lights on Tuesday here at the racetrack, Salvador de Alba Jr., who runs in the Super Copa Series down in Mexico, has teamed up with Michel Jourdain.
Awesome.
I'll talk to Michel on IndyCar Radio a little later on today during the qualifying session. We'll chat a little bit about Salvador. But, yeah, it's come that time of the season where people are thinking about 2022.
Right.
Lots of work still to be done for Indy Lights throughout the remainder of the season, but but there's chatter. There's new teams potentially coming in, drivers looking at the series. There's a lot of interest right now in Indy Lights, and that's really exciting for the entire Road to Indy and IndyCar as well, John.
Yeah, well, especially after the hiatus last year, the series came back so strong. We've got a big field of cars, 13 cars here this weekend. And as you said, you may see 16, 18 next year.
I think so. I really do.
So that's sounded just like what we want to hear.
That's exactly that. Coming back in a big way, which is great. The Road to Indy's really kind of locked in. That whole package of the Dallara IL-15, the AER engine. There was some teething issues early with some turbo problems. That's all been smoothed out. Yep. Everything is locked in with this race car right now. And the beauty of it is that car and the whole package locked in until at least 2024. Right. So 3 more years on the car as well, which is great. And it's still one of the most beautiful cars out there.
You betcha.
And with the new halo that they've put on it this year, I just think it blended in so beautifully.
Yep. It's nicely integrated for sure.
Couple of laps in, John. Christian Rasmussen on top, James Rowe Jr. second, Braden Eves third, Kiffin Simpson fourth, and Artem Petrov fifth very early in the session, just the initial laps going down.
Yeah, just his first real flying lap. And again, we saw times in the mid-117s yesterday. We're in the 122s at the moment. So lap record pace set by David Malukas here 2 years ago, a 1:14.8576. Race lap record, Rinus VeeKay set it here that same year, a 1:16.331.
And that was one of the things we talked a little bit about yesterday. We're not going to see times, especially at this particular racetrack, anywhere near the race record. An evolution in the engine package last year, adding more reliability, just kind of changed the way the engine performs, lowered the RPM quite a bit. We've added a torque on it, so it's not going to have that same pace at a track like the one here at Mid-Ohio. A lot of other tracks potentially with the characteristics of the engine still allowed to potentially, with the more torque on the bottom, has allowed the times to be very similar, but reliability is what we need right now, and we've done a great job. Elite Engines have worked this engine up nicely, and it's been great. Braden Eves, I believe, into pit lane as well.
Correct.
He'll take that number 91 Exclusive Autosport machine up to the service of his crew, front end of the pit lane. They currently lead the team championship, and that's how we set the grid up as well, John, on the pit lane on the team championship. So they are leading the team championship. They have pit spots 1 and 2 for Braden Eves and Artem Petrov. Pabst Racing has that for USF 2000.
Rasmussen still on top. James Rowe still second. Time's getting a little quicker as we're into the 121. So 121.52 for Rasmussen. Rowe about a quarter of a second further up the road. Eves just pulled into the pits. He's still third quick, less than a tenth behind James Rowe. Kiffin Simpson and Reese Gold, your top 5 in the early going here.
you'd have to expect that the guys coming out on that the second run on the first set of tires that they used yesterday, right? Get a feel for the car, any adjustments that were made overnight, get a feel for the racetrack as well. Obviously, much different than it was yesterday afternoon. Get a feel for it, and then come in, make that stop, and potentially put fresh rubber on. Looking down to see if anybody has tires laid out at this point here. Not that I can see. Kiffin Simpson now goes P1 with a 120.868. Again, still quite a ways away from the fast time of yesterday, a 117.5. Rasmussen still P2. Jacob Abel third. Reese Gold now up into the fourth spot, and James Rowe in fifth. And that was one of the interesting things we saw yesterday with Juncos Racing, John. They did essentially put fresh tires on, went out and did, I think, 2 laps and came in. So essentially just scuffed the tires up, ran through a heat cycle. I'm sure those will be used either for the race today or the race tomorrow.
Jacob Abel rolling down the pit lane, currently lying in third position. He'll start today's race in fourth, just outside of road 2.
There you see the tires laid out. So we're getting ready to go fresh sticker Coopers. James Rowe Jr. in, Hunter McElroy in for Pabst Racing, Rowe for Turn 3 Motorsports. So business picking up down here on pit lane.
Indeed. Of course, the track, probably a little damp this morning, overnight dew, basically, and so it'll take a lap or two to get the track to begin to come in and get serious temperature into these Cooper slicks. Do they have multiple tire compounds to choose from, or is everybody on the same?
Just the single, yeah, just the single compound, single construction. The spec tire, of course, Cooper tire is the spec for all 3 levels of the road to Indy, not just the one tire. One of the things I think we talked about yesterday, listening to Joseph Newgarden in his press conference, this track notoriously tough to bring heat into the tires. It's not very hard, really hard on tires, but especially in the morning here, only 82 degree Fahrenheit is the track temp. It'll take a couple of laps. It's going to take them probably 3 laps really to get the tires, maybe even more up to temperature. Braden Eves back out on track now. About 11 minutes to go. Here comes Rasmussen in the Road to Indy Scholarship colors, the red, white, and blue machine for Jay Howard, the number 1, last year's USF 2000 champion.
His teammate Wyatt Prokacek in the other Jay Howard driver development car out of Noblesville, Indiana.
In comes Hunter Yani as well. Hunter Yani for Velocity Racing Development, first year in the series, last year's F4 champion out of Virginia Beach, Virginia.
A bit surprising to see Hunter at the outside of row 6 in yesterday's qualifying session. He's looking a little better today, running 5th in the early going here. So,
well, big jump from F4 up into Indy Pro 2000. We see drivers that we do see coming from F4 normally into USF 2000. You talk about Christian Rasmussen, Braden Eves, Christian Brooks, all coming from F4 over to USF 2000. Let's see what happens here. There's a great shot of the drivers coming down to turn number 4. Getting that car to the outside of the racetrack, back up the hill to turn number 5, then down the hill to turn 6. There it is there, to turn 6. On the right hand, it leads into 7, 8, 9. Madness. This is where you got to be a little patient, too, waiting for those tires to come in, John, because it can go awfully wrong coming through turn number 9.
Yep. If
you're too aggressive on the throttle coming there, because until those tires start to grip, the car gets very light coming over to 9 into Thunder Valley. You have to be smart there.
Yep, absolutely. In turn 11 there, second fastest turn on the racetrack. Totally blind coming up out of the valley.
I remember my first time here, it took me a while.
Yeah.
To get comfortable with turn 11. It really did.
When I took the driver's school, the Mid-Ohio driver's school here, that's one of the places I spun.
Did you? All right.
When I say one of the.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate the honesty, John.
Yeah, like I say, there's the reason I talk about this, because I sure can't do it.
Rasmussen back up top with a 120.851, but into pit lane, as we said, to put on fresh Coopers. Simpson in second. Jack William Miller now up to third. Jacob Abel in fourth, and Hunter Yaney rounding out your current Fast 5.
Over half the field in the pits currently, as we've still got about 8.5 minutes gone. So 8.5 minutes to go, should we say, with about 11 minutes gone. So we're into the second half of this. And it's pretty much what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
These teams coming in about midpoint, putting some fresh Cooper slicks on and heading out and shooting for the pole. Fast time so far, a 120.8. That's about 3 seconds off what we saw yesterday.
Christian Rasmussen with now a 19-point lead on Braden Eves, adding the extra bonus point, qualifying on pole yesterday. So Braden Eves second in points, Reese Gold, the rookie, in third. Fourth, Artem Petrov. Fifth is Hunter McElroy. That's the championship points. coming into the day. Again,
top four, just 57 points separating the top four. So there's still some racing left to go with the drop of the Toronto round, just the 2 races here, and then Worldwide Technology Speedway, and then a triple header at New Jersey, and then we believe another triple header here at Mid-Ohio in October.
Back here to do it again.
Yep.
It might actually be a doubleheader. I think USF 2000 might go triple, or it might be a doubleheader here as well. I think it's a doubleheader at Mid-Ohio. I don't think we're doing but it is our finale. It's our season finale.
Sure.
Where all 3 categories will be here. We'll have our banquet, season-ending banquet, pass out over $2 million worth of scholarships on the Sunday evening. Looking forward to that. Get a chance to honor the drivers who have done so well.
By any chance?
No commission.
No, dang.
No, just part of the program.
It's that big salary that they pay.
That's what it is.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Braden Eves now on top.
All right.
Ohio driver from New Albany in the number 91 for Exclusive Autosport, laying down a 120.361, but still well off the pace of yesterday at 117.5. We will say this racetrack changes significantly throughout the day. Temperature change really does affect the grip level here at Mid-Ohio, maybe more than any track I think we go to throughout the season. It's well known for that, and the engineers have to deal with it, man. That's the tough thing about this track. It's not only tough for drivers, but it's really hard on engineers as well to figure out exactly what you're going to do to prepare the car for each and every session.
Yeah, the IndyCar teams talk about it all the time, about how changeable it is based on the weather. And, they're going to have a real challenge here this weekend because the difference between qualifying today and the race tomorrow is probably going to be about 15 degrees.
That's big.
The track temperature will probably be even greater than that as far as the differential. So they're going to have to kind of swing for the fences in that final practice and hope they get it right. So
those of you at home or around the racetrack watching on the Road to Indy TV app or potentially on YouTube, whatever it may be, you saw a lock up there for Christian Rasmussen on the fresh tires coming up into turn number 2, the keyhole. We'll see if that affects him as he gets the car to rotate in through turn number 5 here now. Braden Eves back on top. Hunter McElroy was up there for a bit with a 120.25, but Braden Eves knocking off another 3 or 4 tenths of a second. 120.021 for Eves on top. McElroy second. Petrov now goes to P2. So the Exclusive Autosport drivers first and second now, and Petrov and Eves. Artem Petrov now on top of the charts in the 42. McElroy second, Eves third. So a lot of adjustments here. Things changing around.
Yeah, into the teens finally with Petrov and McElroy both under a minute 20.
Interesting here. It's Petrov, as you see him coming across the front straightaway there. That is Christian Rasmussen up front, Petrov in second, so maybe able to get a little bit of a tow.
Yep.
You're going to have that rabbit in front of you to chase.
Yep.
Most drivers will tell you if they have a rabbit in front, someone in front, they're a little bit quicker then.
Sure.
It helps in a big way because you're just able to kind of inch up closer. And Petrov actually almost close enough to get a bit of a draft down the back straightaway. He is P1 with a 119.531. Still 2 seconds off what we were yesterday in qualifying. 5 minutes to go.
Jacob Abel up into third. Reese Gold just now clicks up a 4th place run. Braden Eves shuffled back to 5th at the moment. Yesterday's pole sitter, Christian Rasmussen, back in 7th right now. Kiffin Simpson, Jack William Miller, Wyatt Prokacek, Hunter Yani, and Manuel Suleiman rounding out the 12-car field. Eves goes a little quicker and joins the 119 second club. So 3 drivers under a minute 20 right now. Hunter McElroy showing the way as he's into the 18s. A 118.988.
Rasmussen now up into second as well as he's being chased down by Petrov. Wyatt Prokacek up into 4. There's a good lap for Wyatt.
Yeah.
Wyatt Prokacek out of Johnstown, Colorado. Another one of the drivers for Jay Howard. Ran last year in USF 2000. Made the jump up to Indy Pro this year. Prokacek now 4th, Eves 5th, Jacob Abel 6th, 7th is Reese Gold, 8th James Rowe Jr. As Jack William Miller now jumps his way into the top 5.
Yeah, the time's beginning to come down now. It's about 6 of the cars under a minute 20, and Hunter McElroy so far the only one barely under a minute 19.
Long way to go still. A little less than 4 minutes, so count at least 3 laps, maybe 4 more laps for these drivers.
Yeah, clearly with the tires they got on now, the times are really beginning to come down. As we've seen the times drop by about 3 seconds here in the last half a dozen laps.
It's going to take 3 laps to get the tires really up to temp anyways. Then you count in the fact that it's pretty cool here this morning.
Exactly.
Just 63 degrees trackside. Track temperature 82.8 from what we're seeing on our screen here now, so that's not near where it was yesterday. But John did say the interesting thing tomorrow, significantly hotter. We're going to be in the high 80s tomorrow, which will be a much different racetrack for all three drivers. And we'll have all three of our series tomorrow morning as well.
Yep.
USF 2000, 8:05, Indy Pro 2000, 9 o'clock, and Indy Lights at 10 o'clock. A full run through the road to Indy for you before we go NTT IndyCar racing tomorrow afternoon.
And with the triple header for USF 2000 this weekend, it's great that we were able to get that first race in Friday afternoon. And so everybody's got one race a day. So that makes it nice for the planning for the teams and easier on the drivers, too, especially on Sunday when it's going to be blistering hot here.
Well, Indy Pro drivers will have the afternoon off. They race at 10:40.
Right.
So they'll be done by noon. So they'll be back at the hotel by the pool maybe or hanging out with their USF 2000 teammates. We'll see.
Hopefully they're wandering around the IndyCar paddock looking for a ride.
That's a great idea. Spend some time on a box with one of the IndyCar teams. Fantastic idea.
Yep.
Artem Petrov still on top here. 2.5 minutes to go. The number 42. P1 with a 1:18.879. Rasmussen sits second. McElroy third. Gold fourth. Suleiman fifth. Eves is in 11th. What is going on with Braden Eves in 11th position right now? 1:19. Nope, P4. I was going to say, come on. So he just laid down a good lap. And I think this is almost about people cycling back and forth. Now, Eves dropping back down. He keeps going back up and down here. I'm not sure what's going on with Eves in our live timing, but we'll see how it all shakes down. Now we got Eves in 9th spot. Rasmussen now to P1. 1:18.510, about a second slower than he was yesterday, but Rasmussen P1 back to the top where he was in qualifying for race 1.
Less than 2 minutes going, about a minute and a half now. Petrov second, McElroy third, Reese Gold fourth, Manuel Suleiman a good run up into 5th spot.
Yeah, John, the Hunkles racing drivers, Gold, Suleiman, and Simpson, 4th, 5th, and 6th. A couple of wins last year here at Mid-Ohio for Hunkles Racing. Stingray Robb and Artem Petrov both victorious.
Jacob Abel, 4th yesterday, 4th on the road today as he just clicks off at 1:18.93. Rasmussen with about a 10th and a half on Artem Petrov. McElroy about half a tenth, but further back. Suleiman now up to 4th, and only a few thousandths of a second. Reese Gold up to 2nd.
Ooh, big lap for Reese. 1:18.524, 14 thousandths of a second behind Rasmussen. Final minute.
Eves now back up into 3rd spot. So Rasmussen, Gold, Eves, and Petrov. But the top 3 changing just about every time somebody crosses the timing line.
That's exactly it.
Timing line down just outside of turn 9, between turns 9 and 10. McElroy to the top. Rasmussen back to the top.
Petrov to 3rd. So it's Rasmussen, McElroy, Petrov, Gold, Suleiman. A lot of action here. Last 30 seconds, so the drivers here on the racetrack coming across start-finish will cap this lap off, and that'll be it as we're just counting the seconds down now. 15 seconds to go. Let's see what we have here in the final run. Christian Rasmussen, USF 2000 champion last year, current leader in the points here for Indy Pro. He's P1 by 15 ten-thousandths of a second, 100th of a second. McElroy back in 2nd. Petrov 3rd, Simpson 4th.
Really tight. The top 3 separated by less than a 100th of a second.
Checker flag flies. Suleiman across the line, the first to wrap things up. He is in 6th position right now.
Reese Gold finishes his run. He is 4th as it stands right now.
6/10 separate the top 10 drivers. Braden Eves back in 10th right now. See, he puts a lap down and goes P1. Braden Eves drops the hammer on the final circuit, goes to the top. 1:18.35. Will he hold that spot? Braden Eves, the Ohio driver. No, it's bouncing back and forth like something's going on with live timing. Let me see if I have something.
Could be a transponder issue, maybe. I don't know.
Potentially.
Yeah, he is. Eves is now in the pits and is looking 7th right now at a 1:18.59. Hunter McElroy across the line. He is the quickest. We're still waiting on Christian Rasmussen to complete his last lap, and he does not do it. Hunter McElroy is going to be your pole sitter, I think, unless Kiffin Simpson can pull something out of the bag here.
Yeah, quickly looking at live timing on my phone here as well. Indeed, Hunter McElroy, the quickest, a 1:18.16. Hunter McElroy was 3rd for race 1. He'll start on pole for race 2. What a crucial time for McElroy to get quick, as he is 5th in the points, 76 points back. What a run. McElroy P1, a 1:18.16. Artem Petrov in 2nd, 1:18.17. just 100th of a second separating first and second. Christian Rasmussen third. Reese Gold fourth. Fifth is Kiffin Simpson. Sixth, Jacob Abel. Seventh, Manuel Suleiman. Eighth is Braden Eves. Wow, he was P1 for a time. Jack William Miller in ninth spot. James Rowe Jr. 10th. Wyatt Prokachik and Hunter Yaney rounding out the field. But Hunter McElray, man, he's had a struggle, John, for the start of the season here. Actually won at the opening weekend at Barber Motorsports Park, but it's been a bit of a struggle over the last little while for McElray. Just look at the results. Indianapolis 10th, 8th, 7th, a 5th at Lucas Oil Raceway, and a 7th and a 6th. Those are not Hunter McElray stats. A guy that just 2 years ago was a multi-time winner and runner-up in USF 2000. Won last year in his debut in Indy Pro 2000 at St. Petersburg. Just had a bit of a struggle. He's only a one-car team right now. His former teammate Colin Kaminsky elected to shut down the season earlier on. So by himself, but wow, that's a big lap for Hunter McElray to go P1 starting on the pole for the race tomorrow. He'll be alongside Artem Petrov in the 42. That'll be an interesting front row for sure with McElray and Petrov. I just like the shakeup. Christian Rasmussen is right in the fight. Already got a bonus point yesterday. He'll start third, but seeing some new names up front as well.
Yeah, the top three basically just Rasmussen and McElray just swapped places.
That's exactly right.
With Artem Petrov staying there in second spot. So
there you go, folks. Your unofficial results for qualifying 2 for Indy Pro 2000. That race, of course, heading off tomorrow at 9:05 in the morning. Hunter McElray, P1. Well done for Hunter. Artem Petrov in second. Christian Rasmussen third. Reese Gold in fourth. Kiffin Simpson fifth. Jacob Abel, sixth spot. Seventh, Manuel Suleiman. Eighth, Braden Eves. Ninth, Jack William Miller. And 10th, James Rowe. And capping off in 11th and 12th, the number 5 of Wyatt Prokachik and the number 11 of Hunter Yaney. So again, Indy Pro 2000 drivers back on the racetrack. The race for race 1 set to go at 10:40 this morning. As I said, they'll be off all afternoon. But again, 10:40 this morning for Indy Pro 2000. But John, I'll be back up here with you. Actually, no, I will not. I'll be down on pit lane for Indy Lights. IndyCar Radio will be taking over there, and I'll be down on pit lane with Indy Lights. You'll be calling it from up here. That should be a solid session as well.
Oh, yeah, looking forward to it. Coming up next, IndyCars for their second practice session of the weekend. They'll be next on track, scheduled to see the green at 9:05. That's about 20 minutes from now.
So when I think about any grassroots sports, it just brings back warm and fuzzies to me because it's like some of the best memories I have. Me and my dad, we just load up our van, we go racing. He was my psychologist, my mechanic, my mentor. I mean, literally, this guy did everything. So it just nostalgically brings back a lot of really great memories.
My grandparents owned a motorcycle shop in Southern California, and that was my entry point into racing. Through my dad's persistence, I was able to transition into a four-wheel.
At TopCon, we know a thing or two about a smooth surface. Roads and highways, piece of cake. Airports, let's just say it'll be the smoothest landing you've ever had. But what about when you want to go fast? Real fast? No, faster. We've helped cars go faster than they've ever gone before. Broken a few lap records along the way. Want the best paving performance? Go to the source. TopCon, always one step ahead.
Hey, your Uncle Cooper here. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Goldie, my niece, your cousin. And Goldie didn't know which tires were right for her. The first ones were too much tire, and then the next ones were not enough tire. Anyway, long story short, Goldie found the Coopers, and they were just right. What a happy, practical ending. Go to sleep. I love you. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
karting and motorsport enthusiasts. Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.